There are actually very clear signs that someone is ready for real inner transformation. And last night at a Josephine Baker cabaret show, I watched several of them unfold in real time. This was not a polite, sit quiet, theatrical engagement. There were boas, feathers flying everywhere, music, burlesque. It was historical. At numerous points, the astonishing Letitia Harris was stark naked on stage except for her sparkling pasties and ankle feathers. At times, Letitia moved through the audience, breaking in through the invisible wall between performer and watcher. It was playful, it was musical, educational, so much fun. Exactly the kind of unapologetic theatrics that made Josephine Baker such a phenomenon. And here in Sleepy Chilliwack, where we don't often get this quality of performance, it landed as nothing but pure delight. The evening started out driving to the theater. Noticing the energy in the vehicle was pretty anxious. You know, that kind of high-key nervous energy that can quickly fill a small space and make everything feel really tight. It's an energy that can be easy for me to be in resistance to. For a few moments, I found myself thinking, wow, this is hard to be present for. And then instead of trying to fix it or smooth over it or resist it or make the moment different, I just decided to let the energy be there. It was there anyway. So I sat with it. I welcomed it. Not from content, but from context. And interestingly enough, once I made that shift, the atmosphere shifted too. The tension softened, the evening opened up, and we went on to have this joyful, wonderfully surprising night. And that moment in the car turned out to be the first sign that conscious awareness was indeed in the house. We even got to talk with Letitia at the end of the night at the Speakeasy. We took photos. It was a fangirl evening in so many ways. As the accomplished Letitia Harris embodied Josephine Baker, singing songs and dancing the routines Baker was known for, both in her early career and later on, it became impossible not to notice something else about her history. Josephine Baker was adored in Paris, in France, but the adoration was complicated. Part of what audiences were delighting in was a exoticized image, a projection of what was often described as a animalistic blackness, an image European audiences projected onto her. And as I sat there in a theater that was probably 99.9% white, I found myself wondering, are we still doing some version of that now? Maybe not consciously, but in some ways participating in a gaze that carries so much more history inside of it than pure cabaret. It wasn't just a show about burlesque and playfulness. Awareness sometimes notices things like that. Holds, disparities, ease and discomposure, assurance and complexity, light and shadow, all at the same time. There was again conscious awareness still in the house. And that actually brings me to today's reflection. Over the years, working with people navigating trauma, grief, loss, major life transitions, I've noticed there's certain signs that someone's ready to enter into the dimension of this work, the community of what I call context. And there are also signs someone may not be interested in that space, at least not yet. Both are completely human. And so here are some signs that you might be ready. The first sign is that you're willing to stay present with discomfort for a few moments. Like sitting in a car with anxious energy without immediately trying to fix it. Just noticing, allowing. That tiny moment of awareness, your space of context, changes everything. Another sign is you're tired of fighting your inner experience. You realize that trying to make your pain disappear hasn't really worked. At best, it disappears for a while and then resurfaces, sometimes quite unexpectedly. Another sign, you feel curious about awareness itself, not just about fixing the story of your life, but about the space in which the events of your life appear. Not self-help, it's deeper than that. Another sign, you understand that healing may not mean erasing what happened. It may mean discovering a different relationship to those demanding, complicated, sometimes torturous things that have occurred in your life. Another sign, you're willing to open to a dimension that has capacity, the capacity to actually take a breath, to have a moment, to rest in conscious awareness. Because each moment counts, and there's always another moment. And perhaps the clearest sign of all is a kind of glimmer, a flash that arises from somewhere beyond the thinking mind. Something inside you recognizes itself, like catching the faint hint of perfume wafting through the night air as someone passes by, and suddenly you want to know, what is that? Because something deep within you recognizes the essence and the pure salve it offers to your soul. Something inside you knows, not with certainty, but with resonance, when that small yes appears. And there may be signs that show you are not ready. One sign is you're looking for someone to remove your pain for you. This work doesn't bypass grief, loss, betrayal, or trauma. It helps us meet life differently. Another sign is that you want certainty before you begin. Awareness, context, is something we discover by entering it, absorbing it, amalgamating it, not by solving it first with the mind. And another sign is that you feel no curiosity about awareness at all. If the only goal is fixing the circumstances of your unbridled thinking mind, this work will probably, most likely, feel quite frustrating. A closing reflection. Time matters. Not every teacher is for every person. Not every moment in life is the moment, the special moment. But when the time is right, something inside people recognizes itself. So perhaps the question becomes, is this your moment? Now? Or maybe now? Because when that small inner yes appears, you might just notice that conscious awareness is already in the house. Thanks for listening in today. I'll talk with you again really soon.